just to go to the next question about the differences, I guess, in raising boys versus girls. So again, we invite our viewers and the panelists to go to the Slido, slido.com. The code number is 4554434. We're asking a question of, in the raising of your boys and girls, is there any difference? Are there certain responsibilities that you'll give to one child, over the other, or is it just kind of like the same across the board? So I'll let Curtis, you can just kind of go ahead and tackle that, and then we'll just kind of go down the line.
I only have a boy right now, but I imagine if I have a girl, I will kind of see it's hard, because it's one thing to say, I want to raise them with the same responsibilities, but it's another thing of what the world is going to expect from them. And so that brings a little bit of hesitation of how, I interact with them both. But I want to teach my son the responsibilities, the proper responsibilities for him to grow up to be a man that knows how to take care of him and his family. But I also want to teach my daughter those responsibilities, for her to know that she can handle her responsibilities without someone. Not saying that she shouldn't have somebody, or she can't be relying on somebody, but she has to know how to do it for herself before she is able to rely on anybody else, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's Steve.
It was definitely, I'm a proponent of, I guess, equal, but I do recognize that there is a male and there's a female, and they have certain inherent, viewpoints, and especially like in my work that I do now, I work with, high school kids, and I realized that I have to do something different to get more men to be involved in my program, because the age group that I'm dealing with, the ladies are simply just way more advanced than the men. If you see the list of long resumes that these ladies are delivering on me, I don't even know what to do. So by the time I look at the men, I just like, man, if I hire this person, it does look like I'm doing citizen. So, but I know it's unfair, because during that time, ladies are just more advanced, but the men catch up a little bit later, right? So because of things like that, I definitely realize that gender is very important to take into account when dealing with young people. As we all know, we've all heard the examples of how a mother will aid a young man's perception of how he deals with women, and vice versa, right? A dad and his daughter's relationship, and how that So these things are, there is a difference, and I believe it. And that's one thing I do like about our feminism in Africa. It does celebrate being a woman. It's not like all subservient. In fact, some of the toughest people I won't play around with. They're ladies. Oh my goodness. So it is what it is. So I go with different, but so my son is more, of course, I am more strict with him. My daughter, unfortunately, I was unable to maneuver her, but she gets a little bit more, a little bit more what my son would say, that I'm spoiling her. Let me just put it like that. But it is what it is. Thank
you. Nina?
For me, I feel like, so the reason why personally I feel like when women, African women, I'll be very specific, kind of thrive when they come into a Western world where they're given all these opportunities, is because growing up, women are thought to be very dynamic. We have to be firm but calm. We have to be strong but soft. We have to know how to take care of a home but don't appear too strong. We from a very young age, women are taught how to, or I don't know that we were taught or forced, or life makes it that way. But a lot of women are very, very dynamic in their thought process and how they have to behave. in different scenarios. Boys never had to do that. And I feel like I have 2 boys. And I feel like that's one of the biggest reasons why, like Curtis said, women will tend to thrive because we're more resilient, just because of how, and I think it's worldwide, women have gone through these scenarios where we have to adjust and readjust. We're supposed to be these superhumans that can just, transform as needed. I want that for my boys. And that's why I would say this equal. I wouldn't say different, because it is true. The world expects certain things from men and from women. But if we can kind of instill that in both, how will that come out to be? You know what I mean? So for me, I want my boys to learn all those nuances as boys. I haven't been blessed with a girl yet. And with them, I want them to know how to take care of a home. I want them to know how to read emotions. I want them to be emotionally intelligent. I want them to know when and what to say at certain times. Don't be cross and, like, what I mean?
All right. And don't be like a man.
So for me, I want to say give them the same responsibilities, because when you start to divide it, that's where the whole thing comes in. Like, oh, a woman, you're a woman. You're a man. You should also, know when to do this and when not to do this. So, I mean, I don't know how it's going to work out, but that is my, that is my parental intention right now, to give them the same steps I would give if I had a daughter.
Well, it's definitely worth the try. Parenting is trial and error. No, I certainly want to raise. I only have 2 daughters, and they're 5 and 8, and I haven't been blessed with a son yet. However, when I do have a son, I want to raise him as equal as possible. He has to learn how to be domestic as well. I want my ladies to also know things that men know, as far as like handling finances and all that type of stuff. In fact, when I was growing up, my dad fondly calls me his first son, although I have a brother that's younger than me. He calls me his first son because he literally, anything. In fact, I would have conversations about any and everything about with him. He would show me how to change tires. He would show me how to fix things. I knew how to do all the DIY stuff before it became a thing. And I think that makes me more resilient, strong. So why not teach a woman how to do things that are generally known as a man's role? Why not teach my kids, when I do have a son, how to cook or how to clean or how to just be domesticated, because that comes handy for themselves when they live alone. That comes handy when they're in a marriage. They now are equipped and not afraid to take care of the baby when the wife is not around. They're not afraid to take care of the home when their wife is not around, because quite frankly, sometimes when you enter into a marriage or you hear other people's relationships, it's not so much that the man doesn't want to help. He's afraid. He doesn't know how. So I want to try to instill these tools and concepts early. Therefore, when they grow up, it comes handy.
If I can just add to that experience, being like I said, the first and oldest male, that is so true, because my wife has experiences with other wives, and they talk about, oh, you let your husband go shopping, or your husband is cooking, or you let your husband at home with no instructions on how to take care of the baby. And she was like, no, he's fine, he knows what he's doing. And the other wives are always talking about, like, oh my gosh, so I have to leave all these instructions for my husband, and he doesn't know what to buy when he goes to the store. I have to do all that. So it does come in handy, having those experiences growing up as a boy, of how to cook, how to clean, how to take care of a baby, things of that nature. So
and I just wanted to add that everything I said is not, it's not based off personal experience, because I have zero abilities for male related things. So zero, and it bothered me at some point. Like, my husband knows if the car just stops on the road, I'm taking an Uber. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to touch. The way I was raised, I'm good with nurturing, taking care of the home and things like that. But anything related to fixing, I don't even go near it. I'll just call my brothers, and then they will never even expect me to do it. And that's the thing. What is the expectation? There was no expectation from me to learn any of those handy things. So now I'm zero. I don't have any skill whatsoever when it comes to such things. So I envy you, Amaka, and that's what I want for my kids too, where they're not completely unable to do one section of life. Because when I came to America, I didn't have my brothers, I didn't have my dad, so now how do I own a car? I'm calling people, I'm begging friends to come and figure this out, and they are charging me an arm and a leg because I don't know what they're talking about. You know what I mean? So I think it based on my personal experience, I don't want my kids to just have zero knowledge in one aspect of real life, because it is real life.
Well, don't envy me too much, because nowadays we're all about soft life.
Right.
If you need your car fixed, call AAA or your insurance company.
Right.